You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, that's more like it, huh? A much-needed Tigers victory today to avoid the sweep at the hands of the Milwaukee Brewers, and in blowout fashion, which is kind of fun to kick back and watch your team cruise to the victory, especially from what we saw in the first two games of this series prior. It was not that. So on today's show, we'll discuss the offense waking up in a big way, and Tarik Skubal was on the bump, which pretty much means a Tigers victory. We'll dive into that. He was lights out as usual. And how about some web gems that were made behind him? A couple of really good plays. And we'll wrap it up, as I like to do, with a little news and notes section for you on a Sunday, because there are some things coming up here that are worth making note of. So welcome one, welcome all. Fired up to be with you. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. Tigers get the 10-2 victory, back to a game below 500 at 32-33, 15-17 now at home, and 10-3 in games that Tarik Skubal starts. So how about that? But this is Locked On Sports Detroit, Locked On Tigers Postcast, your destination for all things Detroit sports postgame. With it being baseball season, we got Locked On Tigers Postcast for you. Your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more right now. New customers get $200 in bonus bets. Whoa, yeah, that's right. I did not stutter. New customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. As always, we welcome the YouTube audience joining us for the live show. Appreciate everybody, and tell a friend about Locked On Sports Detroit. We need to up those subscriber numbers a little bit to please the YouTube algorithm so that more Tigers fans can join us here on these live post-game streams, especially on a beautiful Sunday afternoon after a beautiful and much needed blowout Tigers victory 10-2 over the Brew Crew. So let's dive in with the offense. I made a couple of notes. We'll get to the Tarik Skubal start in the second segment of the program. But before we go any further, we say hello to our YouTube audience. Demetrius McNeil first up. He said, Jake, I said yesterday that Skubal would have to come up big. I was right. Greene's diving catch and Veerling's catch to take the home run off the scoreboard. Yes, really, really impressive stuff there. Riley Greene made two wonderful catches in the outfield that we'll break down. It was good to see the defense alive and well. And Tarik Skubal has to be, I think the way he's wired, and we saw it on full display today, the dude is just a bulldog on the mound. But I think he likes the added pressure of knowing the Tigers just simply have to win every time he takes the mound, and he pitches like that. And I love that mentality from him. And obviously the stats speak for themselves. The start that he is off to is better than Verlander's historic 2011 start through this many games, which I think Verlander finished 24-5 that season, but the Tigers were incredible. And I think I got to make sure I give credit to the right person on this. I think it was my buddy Broder that tweeted this out, who does a great job over there at Woodward Sports. Yeah. He said, and again, credit to Matt Broder for this fun little nugget, that the Tigers in that season with Verlander in 2011, when he won the MVP, the Tigers were 16-3, which was Verlander's record in games following a Tigers loss. So Skubal, in the same sense, knowing that the Tigers have to win when he's on the mound, and especially following a loss, he has been exceptional, which again is why he's drawing those comparisons to Justin Verlander. S-Dog in the comments, not going to lie, glad we took one. Brewers are tough. Yeah, I think the Brewers really could be one of those dark horse teams. And, you know, they just play that brand of baseball that tough is a really good word for it. They steal bases, you know, they get after you up and down, and they're not, they have enough pitching. The bullpen's really good. They talked about that. They talked about that on the broadcast as well. And they just have that style of play that can be sustainable and successful. They're leading the National League Central right now, 6.5 game lead on the Reds. The Brewers are 38-26. And yeah, they for sure look to be the favorite to take the National League Central. The Cubs have faded. The Cardinals. All things said, though, that entire division, the Reds, Pirates, Cubs, and Cardinals are all just bunched up there, all within a game of one another. And then you got the Brewers with a comfy lead. But it's June, and we are talking NL Central standings. My apologies. But yeah, S-Dog, I'm with you. I thought yesterday's game was there for the taking. We won't look in the rearview mirror and dwell on that too much. But yesterday's game, when you score 4 runs and have that lead, you feel like the way this team is constructed, those are the types of games you need to win, and that doesn't excuse the offense going silent from the second inning on, but felt like that one it was chip away, and the Brewers eventually took it, which was disappointing. But today was exactly what you hope for when Tarik Skubal is on the bump. It was a dominating victory, and again, it's worth repeating, and maybe it isn't. Maybe that's too far of a jump, but it seems like anytime Skubal is on the mound and you get that early lead like the Tigers got today, you just have this sense of confidence that you're in a good position to win this ball game. So 2 runs in the home half of the first to give Skubal a little bit of a cushion, and he did the rest. He's now 8-1 after going 6 2/3, 5 hits. The 1 earned run came in that 7th inning. I know he wanted to get through 7 shutout innings, but gave up that RBI triple. Nonetheless, 10 strikeouts, just the 2 walks. And I said we'll go over Skubal stuff here in the second part of the program. But again, he's just been so dominant. So when you get those runs in the top or the bottom of the first inning, it just gives you that sense of confidence that, hey, this is going to be a really good day for the Tigers, because you got the Bulldog and Tarik Skubal leading the way, and the offense has already put him in the driver's seat to go out and be successful. So I do want to say, though, I liked the lineup with Wenzel Perez leading off, and he gets it started right away with that infield single in the bottom of the first, and Vierling gets him over to second. Canha's then hit by the pitch. And Riley Greene, good to see that, because we had talked about some of Riley Greene's struggles, and he had been struggling. Riley Greene had been struggling in the month of June. Good to see him get an RBI double there. And Justyn-Henry Malloy, the sacrifice fly to right to get the second run of that inning. Obviously, the way the game played out, that when a sacrifice fly in the first inning was not the reason the Tigers won 10-2, but it was a mature big league at bat from Malloy, who seems to have really settled in. He's drawn 4 walks over the course of this series. He's seen the ball much better. I think a lot of us hoped and had predicted that he was going to settle in pretty nicely for that, once he got a couple of games under his belt, because let's face it, you get called up to the bigs. This is your first shot at the show. There's a lot of things that are probably going on between the ears that makes, and especially with baseball from a hitting perspective, there's so many, it's timing, it's confidence, it's presence. There's so many other components to being a successful hitter at the major league level. And Justyn-Henry Malloy embodies a lot of those abilities. And it was just a matter of getting to that comfortable place, mentally relaxing. First series at Comerica Park, hometown crowd behind you. I don't know how much of all that plays a factor, but this weekend he looked significantly better than he did in those first 2 games. Because he looked great in game 3 against the Rangers, breaking up that perfect game with the home run. A couple other people joining us on the YouTube stream. Broder's in the comments with the Scoobs. My man, great work on the X or Twitter sphere, whatever we're going to call it. I don't know if you were with us earlier in the program, I used your stat with crediting the source, of course, but how good Justin Verlander was following a Tigers loss in that 2011 year. Skubal has been that same way here in 2024, which the Tigers obviously need. And well said from Dan Mert here. Thank God for Tarik Skubal. Yeah, this was, if you were with us yesterday, and I don't blame you if you weren't, because again, it was a disappointing loss. We said, the way this team is set up, no pressure, Skubal, but hey, we got to win this game. And that's exactly what happened. And the defense was really good behind Tarik Skubal, which we'll get to in the second segment. But other observations I made just from an offensive perspective, the eventful bottom of the fifth where you had the Gio Urshela 2-run single, and then Zach McKinstry. This was a big at-bat at the time. Benetti and Craig Monroe talked about the importance here because a lefty was brought in to face the lefty Zach McKinstry with the bases loaded and 1 out. You've got the infield drawn in, and just a terrific piece of hitting by McKinstry to know that he can't hit the ground ball. He's got to find a way to lift it to the outfield. That's all he was trying to do. And it wasn't pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty, but just a lawn dart single the opposite way into left that brings in 2 more. And at that point, that puts you up 5-0. A 2-run single from Andy Ibanez to make it 7-0, because the reason obviously the Brewers brought in the lefty to face Zach McKinstry, that is a favorable lefty on lefty matchup, but credit to AJ Hinch and knowing the way the lineup was structured. You got Andy Ibanez there ready to come in as a pinch hitter, being the right-hander and he just feasts off lefties. And indeed he did with the RBI single. And then let's go ahead and throw an exclamation point on that inning with the Jake Rogers 3-run dong for my buddy Jeff Rieger. Got to throw the dong in there because that put the exclamation point on this one. And you love to see the power display from Jake Rogers. 3-run bomb, Oppo Taco, any other way you want to slice it up. It was a impressive swing from Jake Rogers, who I don't want to get carried away in a small sample size here, but 2 homers in the first win against the Texas Rangers in that opening series, and then a 3-run homer today. Maybe he is getting that power back, which would be really, really nice to see for a little bit of a value add to that offense overall. But Tigers win this one impressively 10-2, and that's how it has to be when Tarik Skubal's on the bump. So impressive stuff there. All the way around. This was the type of victory that if you say you're trying to tell a man on the street, hey, I think this Tigers team could be legit. This would be the type of game. This would be the game film, the tape you'd turn on to show exactly that. So we're going to break down Tarik Skubal's start because it was interesting. And a lot of people had to confirm this, but Tarik Skubal threw the fastest pitch by a Tigers pitcher since 2015. Incredible stuff. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. Locked On Tigers postcast continues in just a moment. All right, Locked On Tigers postcast, that's right, is presented by supplyco.com, where you want to get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. That's right, supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Easy to use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. You can shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. That's right. There's no blackout spots. Coast to coast in the US of A, baby. If you need help with an order, don't worry. You can get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person. That part's important. A real person every time. No robots. You got pros in the skilled trades. Well, you can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every trade master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. We continue on with Locked On Tigers postcast. Appreciate everybody getting in the comments on the YouTube. I believe I've read everybody. Jason Walter, Skubal is good, I guess. Yeah, he's all right. He's okay. But that future I made on Tarik Skubal to win the Cy Young, feeling pretty good about that. Broder, I missed it, but all good, brother. I know you're class act all the way. Same to you, Broder. Right back at you, my guy. I love the nuggets that he puts out on Twitter. If you're not following him, make sure you are. Let me get this. It's at MattBro21. And while we're on the Twitter, I had to retweet this from my guy, Jeff Rieger, close personal friend, actually, though, friend of the program, if you will, good friend of the program. Good things. This is what he tweeted out. Good things happen when Javi Baez doesn't play. Could have pinch hit him with the bases juice, but smartly, the Tigers didn't. Tigers mauling the Brewers 10-0. And if the Twins lose, currently down 4-3, Detroit will be one game out of a playoff spot. Moral of the story, stop playing Javi Baez. Yeah, that's about as good as it gets right there from our guy Rieger. Just stop playing Javi Baez. Send him down, DFA his ass. I don't think that's actually going to happen. Of course it's not. But just eat the cost. I just don't think Javi Baez should be part of the Detroit Tigers' future organizational plans. Just my thought there. But again, the point being is this is a positive show. There was a lot of good things that happened today, and Javi Baez wasn't in the lineup. So I do think it's worth noting that this team plays really well without Javi Baez in the lineup. Broder says chances Baez makes contact with that same ball as McKinstry. Yeah. No, zero chance Javi Baez. And we broke down that McKinstry at bat with the bases loaded instead of pinch hitting Javi Baez. And McKinstry just understood the situation, knew he could not put the ball on the ground. You got the bases loaded, one out, find a way to drive that ball. It doesn't even have to be drive the ball, find a way to get the ball to the outfield. And it just so happened to come in the form of an opposite field lawn dart to left to score 2. But again, understanding the situation, not trying to do too much, take what the pitcher gives you, and voila, it's a 2-run single. But let's talk about Tarik Skubal. And yes, I gave you his final line, but I always like doing that as we introduce how well he pitched again today. Would have loved to get through the 7th inning without giving up that 1 run. But bottom line, he gets the win. He's 8-1 on the season. Tigers are 10-3 in games that Tarik Skubal starts. He went 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. He threw 95 pitches, 65 of them for strikes. But the one I want to get to in particular was a 101.7 mile per hour fastball that people are confirming. And I believe it was Jason Beck, yes, who tweeted out, confirmed this was not a StatCast quirk. Tarik Skubal's 101.7 mile per hour fastball checks out. It's the fastest pitch by an MLB starter this season, not named Paul Skeens, and ties Bruce Rondon's on July 28th, 2015 for the fastest pitch by a Tiger since StatCast began in 2015. So you got Skubal, and people on X were saying, what are they feeding this man? But to reach 101 mile per hour fastball on an 0-2 pitch, 101.7, that's pretty impressive. And I don't want to focus on just one pitch from his entire body of work because he was really, really good again today, but just gives you an idea of how good Tarik Skubal is feeling, how confident he is. And I put in my notes there that it was kind of an eventful top of the 4th inning because at that time, it's still a 2-0 game only. So obviously everything's still hanging in the balance where the Tigers didn't I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong box score. Get it together, Reetma. Here we go. How about that? Yeah. So before the Tigers put up the 8 spot in the bottom of the 5th, in that top of the 4th inning, Skubal's getting squeezed a little bit, disagreed with some of the calls from the home plate umpire, and he still, although he barked a little bit, I would say contained his composure and still made the pitches in order to get out of the 4th. But it felt like he was getting squeezed by the home plate umpire. There was the illegal slide that extended the inning for the Brewers on the attempted double play. You had 2 on, 2 out, and then Riley Greene backs up his pitcher with a diving full extension catch in left for the final out. And I know we put on the graphic there, Web Gem City, but that one, maybe it wasn't as impressive as the robbing of the home run from Matt Vierling, which was also insane, incredible catch. And Riley Greene even caught one up against the wall as well. But that diving catch in the 4th with 2 on and 2 out, he doesn't make that catch where the dynamics of the game completely change. And getting out of that inning in the 4th with a little help from his defense, Skubal shows that he was, able to kind of shake off some of the adversity from being squeezed on by the home plate umpire and pitches that he felt like were in the zone. And nonetheless, it's ultimately about getting out of the jam. And again, Riley Greene making that diving catch in left to help him do that. A couple other comments. to get into. Dan Merritt says it's time to bite the bullet and DFA Javi Baez. Why pay him to hurt the team when you can pay him and not hurt the team? Do you have to wait for Ryan Kreidler to get healthy? Yeah, completely agree. It's time. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and make it happen, because you got to pay him one way or the other. You might as well pay him. That's so perfectly put by Dan here. You got to pay him. And why pay him to hurt the team? You might as well just pay him to stay away. It's like that line in Moneyball when Brad Pitt's talking to, I believe, talking to David Justice, and he's talking about how much money he makes. And he says, well, no, the Yankees are paying you. That's what they think of you. They're paying you not to play for the Yankees. And it's a similar situation where the Tigers should pay Javi Baez not to play for the Tigers. But that says, I want to wrap it up with a couple of news and notes as we look forward to an off day tomorrow before a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. So don't go anywhere. A Locked On Tigers postcast continues after an impressive 10-2 victory for the Tigers. We wrap it up in just a moment after these words. Fired up to tell you about LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. That's right. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a proud sponsor of today's Locked On Tigers postcast. And if you're struggling to close deals, maybe B2B selling is tougher than you thought, that's why you need to listen up, because I'm going to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. That sounds like a win-win-win to me. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform. Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. Everybody matters, but in the sales world, obviously, we're looking for those potential buyers. So right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That is linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today, like a Tarik Skubal superstar. Picture if a Sales Navigator was Tarik Skubal on the mound. That's what we're talking about here. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and get started. That's linkedin.com/lockedon to get started. All right, we tie a bow on this one. Off day tomorrow for the Tigers before continuing the homestand with 3 games against the Washington Nationals beginning Tuesday, June 11th, 2 night games, and then Thursday, the 13th being getaway day and a day game against the Nationals before going to Houston, deep in the heart of Texas, for the weekend series against the Astros. But off day tomorrow. Now, this is the part I want to talk to you about, because the Tigers PR went ahead and tweeted it out. So we know that Jack Flaherty is not going to start on Tuesday. Not sure when he will get his next start, but Kenta Maeda is going to get the start on Tuesday. And I wrote down that Flaherty is believed not to be going on the DL, which is good. I'm sorry, I said DL. It's just such a habit. The IL. Let's work on that. There we go. So Flaherty going to miss his upcoming start, and at least it being scheduled back a little bit, which is important to note that he's probably not going on the IL. So no IL for Colt Keith as well after that collision with Akil Baddoo. That's according to Evan Petzold of the Free Press. But again, Jack Flaherty going to miss that start on Tuesday due to back tightness, but not expected to go on IL. So just some news and notes to wrap it up, because it's a Sunday. We kind of get our bearings for the upcoming week. Off day tomorrow before 3 against the Nationals to wrap up the homestand, and then a weekend series against the Houston Astros, who are playing a little bit better. Boy, did they struggle coming out of the gates, but I don't know how many division titles they've won in a row, but it's been quite a few. So that team has the potential to wake up at any time. So that said, Tigers get the win in this one over the Milwaukee Brewers, 10-2, the final. And as always, don't forget about Locked On's first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, now available on the Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today, here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day, filled with local experts of Locked On plus national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. This is also when we remind you to make sure you subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit. Don't miss a thing. Enjoy the off day tomorrow. And one other thing I did want to at least throw out there, given where this Tigers team is at, you look at the upcoming schedule and the Nationals, maybe this is where the Tigers get hot, if you will, because I think the Nationals are a team you can win some games against. And then you got the Astros, albeit on the road, but the Tigers have been a better road team. You want to stockpile some victories here, because then you got the Braves. We all know the Braves are a very, very good team. 3 games against the Braves before 3 against the White Sox. So you want to think you can get 3 there. Then the Phillies come to town in the later portion of June. That's going to be tough because, let's face it, the Phillies are the best team in baseball. And then you go to the West Coast to take on the Angels before the Twins. So lots of games coming up where it sounds simple, but some very, very winnable games. Win those games and then give it a go against the teams like the Braves and the Phillies. But much better feeling after today's game, because the first 2 of this series were not good. And as somebody pointed out in the comments, the Brewers are really good. First place by 6.5 games for a reason. They've played really good baseball up to this point. But the Tigers, maybe they can continue to find a way to stay relevant. And I know Cleveland and Kansas City, for that matter, just continue to do what they've done all season, and that makes it tough. But like Rieger pointed out, if the Twins can maybe fall in, it's not too early to start talking about wild card stuff, because if the Twins lose, the Tigers would be just 1 game out of that final wild card spot. And you just got to get there, right? You got to get to the postseason, and then anything can happen. But that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate everybody's participation today, all of the comments, all of the questions. That's what Locked On Tigers Postcast is all about. It's your destination for Tigers talk post-game following the final out. We've always got you covered. That's why you subscribe, Locked On Sports Detroit, and appreciate any and all follows on Twitter as well, at Jake_Rietma. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in. Tigers salvage 1 game against the Brewers. Avoid the sweep. Off day tomorrow before taking on 3 against the Washington Nationals with the 10-2 win today. Detroit now 1 game under 500, 32-33, and 15-7 at home. Thanks so much, everybody, and we will see you next time on Locked On Tigers Postcast. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday.